steps up with that data finesse, selling it right, no room for a guess. The mics are hot, the beats hit hard, fans throw their hands high.
Oh, we're starting? Hello, America.
Woo!
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Applause, please.
Happy Friday. Happy no more snow, rainy, cold, but not frozen Friday. It makes me so happy. I'm so
This
glad
is
to
the
be here with
worst.
all of you.
This is the worst weather New York gets, right? Just above freezing and raining hard.
Nah, man. When it was
Windy.
negative 20 wind chill and I was taking my 5-year-old to her bus in the morning, that was...
I enjoyed that. It was sunny.
Oh, it's still dark out when I have to get on that bus in the morning. It was so cold. And we were like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? People in Florida, they get the sun. They get hurricanes.
They don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate what they have.
Sure don't. That's right.
I was I'm trying to cope with the fact that everyone's talking about New York City on Twitter, which is finally breaking me.
I saw that tweet. Yeah. People really do like talking about New York, and it's getting to the point where the headlines are just like everything's a headline, and that's just exhausting. It's silly. You're like sorting out the noise has become very difficult.
It feels like things are very contentious all over the place now, but especially here in our corner of the world, AdTech. I think we might have to do news this entire show because there's so much news. There's so many fights that we haven't yet covered, and everyone loves an argument. So we have to weigh in on all these.
Let's have a news day. I would love a good news day. We also missed one last week that was such a juicy one. I don't know how we forgot it.
Yeah, I think the staff has them lined up. We can't choose the order, right? We got to go in the order. You've lined them up.
That would make it easy.
Let's
go in the order. Let's kick into news, everybody. We're happy to do this.
It's Carnage. The theme of the news is Carnage. All right, from the Wall Street Journal, woke AI feud escalates between Pentagon and Anthropic. Anthropic, the company that makes Claude, has a government contract via Palantir. Palantir does not have his own models. It uses Claude, among others. And they have a government contract for the Pentagon and other Department of War projects. And this controversy is erupting that Claude is being accused of being woke. Someone has to remind me what exactly Claude said they won't do that led to this accusation. Sasha, can you look up in the story what the founder has said that they won't do? He's going to negotiate it, and it's all they'll probably keep the contract. But he drew some line that
he doesn't want it to be used for domestic surveillance.
Yeah, there's that.
He works with Palantir.
Autonomous lethal activities.
Autonomous lethal activity.
Okay.
Seems like a good place
but
to
all
draw
those
the
AI
line.
guys are like Elon Musk's a big no autonomous lethal activity guy. Like those guys, they're all very nervous about that. Maybe selfishly.
Seems like common sense. So do a lot of things. But I don't know. Claude being called woke. I mean, even Grok, as you know from my Twitter activity, is woke to the extent that if you ask it facts that conservatives consider controversial, it will give you the facts, like the Earth is round.
Yeah, woke detection recently has just been keyword detection. That was why all those grants got canceled, was because there were new requirements for talking about how your grant would impact equity, which, you can feel out how you will, but they basically just did a control F for that word. And we're when they found it, kill the grant. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say what they're actually
matching is treacherous. You'd think they would use AI. I've been censored on Twitter for talking about TransUnion because it includes trans.
On Twitter or X?
X, yes.
So you can't say the word? That's crazy.
You will be, yes, you can't get a lot of reach if you say trans, including TransUnion or Transamerica or Transcontinental.
Oh, it must be so hard for those brands. They can't do any branded content.
It's a
Like they
problem.
can't publish it. Everywhere, all of the brand safety tools are like, stay away from this one. It's controversial. Oh man,
I
unforeseen
guess,
consequences.
yeah, but it's a way of working the refs, right? Like the regulation, regulators, including the US government, have a job to like referee this stuff and have some boundaries. And like I think the anti-woke movement is just a way of working the refs, saying we're gonna complain if you know, if you call fouls on us. And it influences the refs. Just
I
what
am
they're trying to
curious
do to
how he
Fox.
closed a Palantir contract if he's like, I'm not going to work with surveillance companies. Like that one.
I don't know.
Like someone wasn't in the meeting for that one. It was like, oh wait, we're working with Palantir. Like that's their business. They
I
say
got
that they are good at this. That's why you work with them.
I got to drop my fun fact about Peter Thiel, which is is not just not known enough, but I learned it on X. Do you know where Peter
Fun.
Thiel grew up?
Oh yeah, I do.
He
I know
grew
this one.
up, people think he's South African, but he grew up in a German
Namibian.
expat town in Namibia
Yeah.
that a New York Times reporter visited in the 70s. Nothing to do with Peter Thiel, but he reported this town is like, what a quirky thing. There's a German town in Namibia where people still greet each other, Heil Hitler, on the streets in the
Nice.
70s. That is where Peter Thiel grew up.
There's a really interesting. So I've been to Namibia.
Have you been to this
Namibia.
town?
Yeah, I think was he from Swakopmund? I think he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are not a lot of towns in Namibia. It is
Yeah.
the second least densely populated country on Earth after only Mongolia, and it's oh my gosh, who was the author?
What were
He
you doing
wrote so you can go see the dunes. The dunes are really spectacular in Namibia. They have these huge, like skyscraper-sized dunes, and they go right up to the ocean, so it's really dramatic. And they have like also at the top on the border with Botswana, there's a bunch of like animals you can go see, like safari type stuff.
So what you're saying
Tom,
is your parents were fleeing Nazi Germany. They took off the uniform and hid in Swamp Mugula. What's it called?
I'm trying not to say that on the podcast, Adam. If you really want me to just come out and say it, I will.
Vampires, I guess.
Yeah, Thomas Pynchon wrote about this really interestingly. I think it was in Crying About 49, might have been one of those. But the Germans in Namibia during World War II was a real thing. So I would actually fully believe this because, it's the middle of nowhere. It's a bunch of like Third Reichers, and they're just out there in the desert. And it's like that Japanese guy who didn't know the war ended.
War was over. Yeah, I saw
And
that on
was
$6 Million
running around
Man.
an island until the 90s, and like they found him, and he was like, ah.
I bet you haven't seen the $6 Million Man episode, but my man Maldo, you know that $6 Million Man episode where he finds the Japanese soldier?
Absolutely, but it's not as good as the one where Andre the Giant played Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The Sasquatch episode. All right. Some Gen X trivia there. We experienced these things in the 70s while Peter Thiel was growing up among Nazi refugees in Namibia. You really just went to see the dunes?
The dunes, and I went. So there are a few places that do safari.
Went on a safari.
They're pretty, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Did you encounter Nazis?
Peter Thiel?
Did you encounter any Nazis that you knew of?
No Nazis that I knew of. Though now that I think back on it, I was a lot younger, and I really wasn't looking for them. So if I were to go back and I were to keep my eyes open for it, I might see it. You are profoundly aware when you're there, though, of the German influence, because like it's one of the only countries down there that the Germans were in. It was like the German one.
How does that manifest? There's sausage restaurants?
There's like German stuff. Yeah, it's a thing.
Apple wine?
Yeah, it's like in Texas, right? Like in Texas, there are still towns that are like very German because they were like mostly German settlers. So you can go get like bratwurst and stuff like that. It's a real thing.
Quite like schnitzel myself. I don't know how German that is.
What's next? What's the next story?
From Digiday. Digiday did some great reporting lately. This is too small for me to read. Let me pin this so I can see it better. Sasha or Marley, can you read that?
Agentic with a small a. CMOs are adopting AI more slowly than it's evolving.
Yes, the point of this story, I talked to some CMOs, and they were sort of like we were just talking about with weapons, like they're interested in using it for analytics, reporting, maybe strategy, but they say they're not ready to let agents make decisions. And it was a thoughtful piece. I think it's Seb Joseph covered it, and I don't know. I've of course a zillion takes. This is right in my wheelhouse, so I'll let you go first.
So there's something really interesting here. And I saw another article about this. I should have posted it for us to discuss today. It's that this follows the precise adoption curve of computers and also of anyone who's ever built software and is responsible. You never build a thing to do the thing first. You build integrations to do reporting first. That is what you do. So it completely stands to reason that the first use case for agents would be reporting, not jumping straight to ADCP's like vision for execution. So I totally buy it. And I think it's going to be slow, but I do think that the AdCP agentic framework and honestly the MCP, right? Like the whole like MCP workflow where you're taking things humans did with their hands and you're having agents do them. That makes perfect sense to me that you start with reporting. Like when you hire a new employee at an agency, right? When you hire an analyst, the analyst's first job is to not go set up campaigns and hit go. Like
you don't say, here's $100,000
that.
of Coca-Cola's money. Go spend that on the right ads. That doesn't
Exactly. You would never do such a thing because it would be irresponsible. But like, hey, can you go run these reports in this system? That would be great. Now, speaking of irresponsible, I don't know if you remember the day of the Green Square, but I remember the day of the Green Square when a Google trainee in Australia spent tens of millions of dollars by accident on DV360 buying sample creatives across the entire internet, and they literally set up a campaign with like an unlimited budget and it just bought all the ads.
It's funny you say that. I actually remember the Sasquatch episode of $6 Million Man a little better than that, even though it was 40 years prior. But there's the two things I was reminded of today.
Yeah. So I think, but the day of the Green Square, I think, is a very good thing, or maybe it was Yellow Square. But it's like a nice corollary for this, right? Where a human being fat fingered and spent more. Yeah, no, it's Yellow Square Day. Sorry, I misremembered my colors. I'm yellow green colorblind. Yeah.
Are you?
No.
My son is.
It's red green colorblind. I don't think yellow green colorblind is a thing.
No, if you're red green colorblind, you can't see yellow either.
Oh, interesting. But yeah. I think that this is a perfectly reasonable place to start, and I would assume that every single agency is already doing this, because if they're not, they're nuts, because they're gonna get just eaten by their competitors who are gonna have because every client brief is gonna be so easy to generate and so detailed and so lovely with AI. Like it's such a nice thing for agencies. I can't think of something better for agencies than that.
Yeah, I'm a little. I don't know. Maybe it's just the contrarian in me, but I think everyone there's so much hype, or like everything is so easy now, and using AI. Like I'm in this world, like we use AI for stuff. It's a great tool, but it's not really making people 5 times faster in most cases.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting one because I don't know how much automation already exists inside of agencies. Like if you already built API integrations with all your vendors, and when you're putting together Coca-Cola's QBR, it pulls reports from everywhere it needs to, puts them in one place for you, and like synthesizes them, gives you some insights. No.
They bought a lot of tools. They bought a lot of tools that are supposed to do that, and built even more, but it's not. It's not a thing. It's
they have so much money. They spend so much money on companies. They always assume they have.
They're never flexible enough, right? Like it's like people say they could do that, and then the tool is never flexible enough. So, like the Essence has one for Google globally. Like Essence does the Google account, and now it's whatever, Mediacom.
Yeah.
But right, they've had an incredible global tool for reporting on all the products and all the campaigns and everywhere, because it was the same format every time. And the client is Google, so but that's not normal.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me. I also recently learned that it's very common for agencies to like outsource most of their media buying to other agencies. So they just they
Not
close. Oh,
most, a lot.
oh
Oh
God.
my God, don't make me talk shit about agencies, okay?
Ugh. I mean, I
There's a
love
lot of
so many of
outsourcing.
them. I talk to them all the time. I'm bringing on advisors who are from agencies, but I'll have a call with someone and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, all of our business comes from this other agency. Like we just do programmatic buying for this other agency who closes all the deals." And like I get it. Like
Spillover.
God, it's crazy,
It's
man.
like how most wars
Oh,
are fought
crazy.
by mercenaries, right?
Yeah, it's true. Like we don't need our own army. We can just
Just
go
get one.
get
There's
one.
one. All
Yeah.
right, but
Like,
here's what I don't get about this story. Here's my take, and I think I'm being very stupid. So feel free to tell me if that's the case. It's happened before. They're already decisioning and buying robots. Like the entire budget for big companies is already being agentically purchased by the Google algorithm and the Facebook algorithm, the Amazon algorithm and the Trade Desk algorithm. Like, why doesn't that count as automating decisions in people's
mm.
minds? Why doesn't it count? Like, what are people thinking? Do they think a human is making all these automated decisions for a fraction of a penny each, a billion times a day? Do people think that? Or do they think that the human instructions have so confined that algorithm that it's not really making decisions? Or do they think that the machine is entirely in line with what the people would do and have never looked, what the hell's going on here?
I really like that you bring this up, Adam. I really like that you bring this up. I'll tell you why. It's because people have a split personality about this.
Hmm.
People say they hate letting the machines make all the decisions because they inevitably bias towards the people who are doing it, right? Like Performance
People who
Max
made it.
and things
Yeah,
like
people
that.
who made it. Yeah.
However, I can tell from my personal experience for performance media buying on Facebook, you cannot just let Facebook run amok. There are changes that you have to make as a human, and it will improve the performance of
Yeah,
the
you
system.
sheepdog it. You kind of like,
You have to sheepdog it. You gotta.
when it starts going in the wrong way, but
Which is
that's
so interesting because I think that's very damning of the systems personally. Like and it's always confused me that that's been necessary because I always have thought to myself, wouldn't you make so much more money if human beings didn't have to sheepdog it? That's why my assumption has
yeah.
always been they just can't build it well enough. Um,
Paul Vincent saying MCP API wrappers are a great way to test a potential partner solution before actually integrating direct APIs. So I don't know why a wrapper would make it. I think it would be just like an environment where you can see the decisions without implementing them.
yeah, I mean, I think getting an MCP API integration to work smoothly will be as difficult as getting a regular API integration to work smoothly.
Oh my
Like,
God. Oh my
like why
God.
why
That's a
would they
strong statement. Because they
like
understand. They don't, Gareth,
yeah.
because you don't have to code it because they understand plain language. That's why it's supposed to be easier.
I know, but humans also understand plain language, and humans get API integrations wrong all the
No, it
time.
is problem. I'm a big Claude Connect user. Do you have Claude Connect internally yet?
No, I haven't been using it.
We'll get it
I
set up
haven't.
for you
My
guys.
engineers maybe have.
It's pretty good. It's good.
Yeah,
You could say, go to HubSpot, find this deal. Give me every time we talk to this company and have we ever met this person before? It'll find it. It'll save time.
yeah. Does it use HubSpot's API or does it
Yeah,
use an
it uses its
MCP?
MCP.
So I wonder, is HubSpot's MCP an abstraction layer over its UI or over an API? Like, could you
It's an
access all
API.
of that via API? So they're the API? That's
I think
interesting.
they made a special API that outputs all the text and embedded in a way that Claude can read it. I
Interesting.
don't know. I'll find out, but I think that's
Yeah.
what it is.
I mean, it makes sense to me. Um, I have one of my first reactions. Yeah, you're down with MCP. One of my first reactions to MCPs was that the gating factor for most integrations has not traditionally been doing the work. It's been getting approval for someone to stand up the integration. That was, at least that's my experience. And
Also
that's why,
using the integration.
and well, but I think there are so many scenarios where if I had API access to systems, I could use them. Like there are, and the simple example for this, right, is how many companies have open APIs that you can just log into and do stuff, and it's not
Just
all of
beeswax.
them.
I mean,
But you still have
freewheel,
to have, you
ladder,
also have to have a Beeswax account, right? You also have to go through the signing process. They have to approve you. They have to grant you access. They have to do all of those things. And that's actually what most of the
Oh,
work
you
is.
mean
The
like a
actual,
real, you mean like the
yeah,
National Weather Service API, where you can just get
yeah.
the
I
weather
mean,
data. Yeah.
100%. I think a lot of these things, right? The gating factor has not been the building; it's been the humans. Because there are so many things that I would build on top of and just use to my heart's content, like the trade desk, right? The trade desk let anybody just log in, pass a credit check, right? Upload your credit card, and just log in and build things on top of the trade desk. That could be a thing. That could exist. It doesn't. They gate it for reasons. Um, and most tech companies operate that way. And I think that that's been one of the things that has held back the interoperability is that tech companies that are responsible operate this way. And the integrations just haven't been the hard part. Like,
Well, when somebody, like I said, no one will ever log into your platform again if you do what you're suggesting. Like you'll just overlay an AI and never log in again. And of course, that's threatening to them. Although
is it
maybe if
though?
they charge on usage, maybe the API would use it more. Maybe
Maybe
Claude is
use it
using
more.
HubSpot. Yeah, use it
Totally,
more.
if it works better, and most of these guys will, and especially I think this is an interesting thing for AdCP too, right? The the golden goose for AdCP. What I if this could happen in some strange universe, I don't think this is going to happen, but this was like my output of the article. The bull case is it rewards platforms that work, and it rewards algorithms, and it rewards implementations that work, right? If you could build an MCP endpoint that allowed someone to stand up their own chalice deals, you might already have this, chalice deals and traffic properly in the trade desk to hit that chalice deal that's going to optimize to the goal, like, and MCPs could just do that on their own, and then agents inside of Omnicom could go and say, oh, hey, when I hit this MCP to set up these chalice deals and automatically set up the campaign, the trade desk, it crushes it. We're going to do this for everyone. That would be wonderful, right?
Yeah,
Where
that's
we
what we're
reward
building to that.
actual things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
July.
I'm just not sure that's
July
going to happen.
2026. Maybe. Dr. Wrighton, or Dr. Eiton, I call him. If the vendor has created an MCP, then it's easy to use an LLM with that MCP. If you have to make an MCP server for that vendor's APIs, which shares how to use these APIs effectively, it's difficult.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, well, difficult is difficult. The idea is the golden goose, right? Is that people can do these integrations without engineers anymore. Because
Yeah.
most APIs are easy to do for very like rudimentary engineers, where it's like, oh, I hit this thing to make this thing. And
All right, well, let's go back big picture. Tell me that how mad should I be that the conversation has shifted from AI, which a conversation lasted maybe 6 months, to now a conversation about agentic that looks like it's going to be with us the rest of our fucking lives. Like these aren't really different conversations; they're different buzzwords. But I feel like some sleight of hand was done, and we lost the chance to get our arms around AI. I feel like I've lost my chance to help advertisers get their hands around AI because now the whole conversation is agentic and it's about like what tasks is it going to replace for me? And it's like that's not a good AI conversation.
Well, it's kind of LLM's fault, Adam. LLMs, right? They live in the world of human language, and that means they live in the world of human tasks. And so like when that became like what AI does, that's why agentic is such a thing, is because, oh, this can do things that I ask it to do.
But it could be
I
new
blame the
things. I
LLMs.
think it went to agentic because people jumped to what can it replace? It's like filming plays. Like because of I think it's the need to make money out of LLMs that caused the jump to agentic. And if they had, like computers did, 10 years of hobbyist work, then a whole bunch of new uses would come out of it that weren't just replacing. That's all.
In AdTech. I mean, so what would you would want there to be new things that are done with LLMs for ads? What would that be?
Yeah, I mean, like to
What's blue
start.
sky?
Well, what Chalice is trying to do is just ingest all the content and have better content matching, right? Have the most effective possible content matching. And as soon as it becomes agentic, then the conversation becomes, I don't want to, let's forget about discovering the best possible content for my ads, and let's make it the easiest way for me to order up some sports content. It's like, well, now you've missed now you've gone back to just favoring sports content arbitrarily.
Interesting.
The question should be, what is as effective as sports content on a value to cost basis, right? That's what you want AI to find out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting that agentic was the goal, and most companies didn't have a name for it. The goal was to replace folks, not expand capabilities. Yeah, you know, the whole
replace cut their way to growth.
Yeah, well, I also think that most of the cost savings in humans has already been realized with offshoring. Like, I'm not sure how much more money there is to save. Like, I'm sure there's some. If you could take the human element down like 50% or whatever, like I'm sure that they could save a bunch of money. But I think that the humans are doing human tasks now that don't strike me as particularly agentic, like making those decisions about budget allocations, which I don't think you would ever give to agents, like, or not anytime soon.
Yeah, we'll see small companies that get a lot done. We're not going to see big companies succeed by firing tons of people.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I'm going to go back to your point, Adam. I want to think about that because basically what you're saying is that people are not thinking about the new businesses or the new ways of doing things that come from LLMs. They're thinking about, how do I use LLMs to do what I already do faster and more effectively?
Cheaper, especially cheaper.
And cheaper. I think that's just a sales process though, right? Like, because the way that you're talking about it is, you're not saying we're not going to do contextual anymore. That's not what you're saying. You're saying we're going to do contextual, but we're going to do it better.
Yeah.
And it's going to work better. And that's just got to penetrate. That's just that's not a new invention.
Well,
we're
it
not
requires
replacing
competition.
contextual. We're just doing it better.
For better to succeed, there has to be competition. And like, what I'm worried about is like so little competition and such a rush to agentic that a lot of potential value doesn't get realized. I mean, that was the story that we lived through with Google dominance, right? Is a lot of potential value of pub tech didn't see the light of day, which just wasn't built.
Yeah. Well, that's because it got closed. They got boxed out.
Yeah,
like Google,
I mean, boxed out.
You will use their heft to create the dominance. But you know, maybe the promise of MCP is that you will be chosen if you work better.
Yeah, and there has to be
This is a religion.
right, alliances. Yeah, it's going to be a lot like Star Wars.
Oh,
Let's
man.
go to the next story.
Oh man. Oh, this one got me. This one got me.
Go ahead, Gareth. Read this one for our audio fans.
Well, inside the Epstein files, tracing his links to digital advertising so far. Turns out Epstein was exploring a lot of investments in digital advertising.
Well,
and
just one, right? He had one company. He was an investor in one company.
Do you want to say who it was?
Yeah, I mean, the Ad Exchanger wrote about
how
there's this company, Adfin.
Mm-hmm.
And they came out of I don't know, whatever. They were attached to some financial company, and their pitch was they were going to be the Bloomberg of digital advertising.
Yeah, they were originally pitching programmatic futures. They were the first company to try and do futures, where they were like, we're going to sell ad space in 6 months on this publisher, and we're going to make money on that. That didn't work.
Yeah,
and
they weren't. I mean, Zawadzki was first with that. You got to give Josie his credit.
Yeah. And then they pivoted to the Bloomberg terminal thing, because Bloomberg terminals sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars a pop, and who doesn't want to say they're selling something for hundreds of thousands of dollars a pop? And then they went out of business while courting Epstein as an investor. But you know what company this is now? What rose from the ashes?
It's just the people. It's the same CEO as the company Swim, Andrew Alterson. And the funny thing in this story is he never met Epstein, but there is an email in the Epstein files where they're like, "Hey Jeff, do you want to meet the CEO of Adfin, Andrew Alterson?" And he just replies, "No."
Oh really? Oh, that's so funny. Oh God, that's the best way to be in the Epstein files. The best way to be in the Epstein files is somebody asked if he wanted to meet you, and Epstein said no. Like, that's
no. It's better if you're saying no. It's better if it's the guy who wrote the Black Swan. That guy, that
Taleb.
really cranky guy.
Yeah, Nicholas Nassim Taleb.
I think it's him. It might be another guy like that. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but he has an email of telling him to fuck off. He's like, this rich guy wants to take you out and want you to be part of it, and he's just like, fuck off. And people on Twitter are like, he did that to everyone, and it's like a lesson. You should treat that. You should treat everyone like that, because you'll never know if the person you're telling to fuck off turns out to be Jeffrey Epstein.
There's no way to live, man. There's no way to live. flying around thinking every person who tries
I
to
took
hang
it to
out with you
heart.
is going to be
If
a
you don't
Jeffrey
know
Epstein.
someone and they're rich
Oh.
and they're inviting you to something, it's probably a pedophile.
There's no way to live. Oh, that's tough. Unless you have really,
It's
really
not
bad
good.
luck.
It's just not good.
Not good. Yeah, this is crazy. It was crazy to see, and anytime ad tech like at all penetrates like the public zeitgeist, it always surprises me because I
It's
feel
always
like we
bad.
live on such an island. It is often bad. That is true. Like very rarely are people are like, "Hey, these ad tech companies are great."
Yeah,
That doesn't happen a lot.
And ad tech companies saved lives today. That hasn't
Yeah,
happened.
no. It's normally they're sowing misinformation. The
Yeah,
founders are going to prison because of
got,
something. That
got
one gets
Trump
me.
elected. And then
Oh,
our
got Trump
next, I think our
elected.
next story is yet another example. Is it the ICE one? Yes.
Yeah, that's great. This was just lovely. Here, let's turn these dings off. No one signed on for this, right? There was enough like public shaming in ad tech that nobody signed up for this.
So the headline from Ad Exchanger is Ad Tech says it's not in the surveillance business. Now is the time to prove it. And the story from Allison Schiff and Ad Exchanger is about how ICE or whatever Department of Homeland Security put out an RFP for location tracking companies. You know, they said just for reporting. It's hard to imagine what actual nefarious use case they have because ad tech companies don't track people by name or certainly not by citizenship status. And especially since they already have a contract with Palantir, it's hard to believe there's anything much to this. But Terry Kawaja, for one, amplified it and said, "I hope no ad tech companies respond to this RFP." But I would expect someone did. I mean, if you've sunk your life savings into a business and it's on the rocks, you apply for anything.
I'll do what it takes. It's interesting. It's location data. I assumed it was consumption habits. Location data makes sense. Like ad tech companies have, like, there have been criminal proceedings against ad tech companies for their use of location data. People get real naughty with that because phones transmit lat long, and like,
Yeah,
I can see that having some kind of utility where it is a legal way to get access to lat long without.
yeah, but try to imagine how ICE would
search.
use that. Try to imagine
Oh yeah, 100%. They would.
how would they use it? Like people who buy a lot of tacos, they're gonna.
If they had access to a device graph, they
Yeah.
had lists of people they were looking for, and they had access to lat longs, they could use it to triangulate people, couldn't they?
To find the people, but no ad tech company has the person to device, and no one would give you the person to device match.
Well, no one. Is that part of the RFP? Like,
Well,
yeah.
it would be illegal.
Is ICE saying we have this list of email addresses? Like, we want to find this. I agree. It would be illegal. But like, it's ICE. Like, what is illegal? Like,
Where is this device shown up? And it seems like the worst way to do it.
I don't understand why you would need an ad tech company to do it, other than maybe like Bitstream lat long data is somehow like preferential to phone company lat long data. Like, wouldn't the phone companies have this? But like,
Yeah, right?
like that would be the first place to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just sad. Also, like unnecessary bad press. Like, why talk about us? Why bring this to ad tech? I agree with you. Why go to ad tech companies for this? There are so many other companies that do surveillance that you could, like, we know surveil us. Like, I'm pretty sure the phone companies surveil us. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Like,
They
I'm
have
pretty,
to.
like
You can't get a call if they don't
It's
know where you are.
it's part of it. Like, so like why
Yeah.
put this evil on us, Ricky Bobby? They're putting this evil on ad tech. Like, don't say this. We don't need this.
There's another, we didn't have this story, but also Apple got sued, or a letter from the federal government about Apple News being too biased. The Apple News doesn't have Breitbart, so the federal government is suing them for being unbalanced in Apple News, and they're gonna have to prove that it's a quality standard. Well, whatever. It's I don't know. America. Maybe it'll get better.
America.
Maybe things will get better.
I mean, it's ironic that they're bringing up fair and balance now, because that was like something that happened in the 80s that was actually a good thing for news. Whereas, like, yeah, you have to present both sides of a story. But then we had Fox News who just said, "Oh, we're not news."
We should have a
So,
MAGA guest. Do you think there's anyone MAGA in ad tech? I'm sure
I
there
don't think
is.
I'm not sure there's anyone hardcore MAGA who we'd want to have on. Like,
It'd just be fun. No, I met one
I'm-
once on LinkedIn, but usually they're SEO guys.
I was gonna say there are a lot of performance marketers who are Trump supporters.
That guy
Um,
Brad Pascal,
like I know
The Trump
someone.
digital guy, was an SEO guy in Texas.
Oh, really? I don't know who that is.
Oh, the Trump 2016 head of digital was like whatever. He was
Texan
elevated
SEO guy.
from some SEO consultant to be the head of the president's digital campaign.
That
Back in
sounds
2016.
right.
His name
That
was
tracks.
Brad Pascal. I think he ended up. I don't want to say.
I think SEO is witchcraft, so that whole thing just lines up for me. Just the whole thing just comes right home.
What about GEO? We could do a show on GEO.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Linda Yak.
Linda
Is she
Yak
MAGA?
is MAGA.
Is she MAGA?
We hear
I don't
that.
know. I
We
think
hear
that might have been. I think that might have been a show she had to put on. I would have Linda Yak. I would love to talk to her about her experience. It would be very interesting.
All right, she's invited on the show. You tell Lou.
You're gonna have to ask your best friend. You know who knows her very well.
Lou Pascalis.
Barish.
Oh, Barish. Yeah, he didn't like me.
Mhm.
Me and Barish always
Build
have
bridges.
we always have
Build
a good.
bridges, man.
We're fine. We fight online, but whenever we see each other, it's fine. So I assume it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So I'm at the Luma White Party back in June
I've never been invited to a
Cannes.
Luma party.
in Cannes. No, well, I'll bring you the swag so you can.
You bring me some white clothes.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
white
sure you
clothes.
can get those yourself.
Oh, major MAGA according to industry friends. All
Mm.
right, let's get her. I'm in.
Is that Tech Girl friends with Matt Barash?
Maybe. I
went
think
to
that
class
I mean, she's at a HIMSS competitor now, and I went to college with the HIMSS CEO, so I could talk to her about that.
All right, next story. All right, here we go. Getting into it from Adweek. This is a Trishla Oswald's story. Scoop labeled exclusive. Dentsu and WPP quietly exited the trade desk's open path over hidden fees and transparency. And I'll start this one off by saying there's been a lot of bullshit stories where it's like exclusive scoop. Somebody anonymously talked shit about Trade Desk. And
Yeah,
I've been very hard on
my
this.
immediate reaction was I typed it in chat to you, Adam. I was like, "Is this actually a thing? Like, is there
This is a
meat
well
to this,
sourced-
or did someone just say something?"
I gotta give Trish the credit, though this is entirely anonymous. This is well sourced, multiple sources. It's holdcos, so you know it's not small agencies. She had some documents quoted. And yeah, I mean, my research of checking in on this and definitely text and chats lit up last night when the story hit. There's something to this. How could this happen?
I mean, over hidden
Are you
fees
laughing or
and
crying?
it just is really depressing. Okay. Oh man. So we weren't gonna. You said I'm not gonna have time to talk about S-Chain and SPO. I'm gonna squeeze it in here. I'm gonna squeeze it in. People don't understand SPO. They don't get it. They've been sold a bill of goods that is just confusing for them. And it's this simple. There are companies that work with publishers that sell that traffic to other companies via real-time bidding.
Yep.
It's actually, it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Those companies are exchanges. Sometimes those companies sell to other exchanges.
Yep.
When this happens, you lose transparency and you lose fee transparency.
Yep.
The default state of the world is a lack of transparency and a lack of and hidden fees. Those fees are hidden from you. There is one company that I know of that's trying to chart this out. It's Fiducia, and it's really, really, really hard. It's a huge pain in the ass. And they're like digging through log files. They're begging people for log files. They're probably like contractually prohibited from having access to a lot of the data they have access to, probably. But like, it's a mess. So the default state of the world buying in programmatic is you are buying from intermediaries and you are buying from resellers. That is the default state of the world.
Right.
Open
but
path.
not all the time, right? So the experience of the buyer is not always inflated prices. It's inexplicable variance in prices.
Inexplicable variance. The fees are
Yeah.
hidden. They are happening in other companies and other technologies
And not all the
that
time,
no one
right?
has access to, and not all the time.
And
I mean,
undetectable patterns.
so I work directly with publishers. My technology sits directly on publisher pages. If I send a signal in that says this is one of my publishers, you should buy this, like via segment or whatever, there is no more direct way to buy it because it's coming from me, from the publisher. And I've had buyers tell me, like, well, I'm really worried about SPO. You seem to be working with a lot of small publishers. And I go, those two things are completely unrelated. Like, the long tail existing plays no role in SPO whatsoever. Like, it is the long tail.
But are you saying
So
if it comes from you, it's not being resold? After
Correct.
you're on the page and you don't have control if it's resold, do you?
That is true. Theoretically, an exchange could send my signal to another exchange, but I can tell you exchanges are lazy, and when it comes to passing on signals, and they don't want to do that, and so they don't. I am protected entirely by costs and laziness for why people don't resell my signals.
And I want to say containerized bid requests are protected from this, but I'm afraid to. I actually don't know enough yet.
No, and an exchange could blast. Exchanges choose whatever they want to blast out. But I also only work with really like one or two exchanges who I also really trust. Like I work with Index and Media.net. They're pretty clean. But this is all to say that there are many things you can accuse OpenPath of. Many things. But being not transparent and having hidden fees are like my least favorite things to accuse them of. Because one, OpenPath fees should be transparent, like to Trade Desk clients. And here's the thing: I don't know if they are. I know that they say the number internally. I don't know if they like have a way to like prove their transparency. But like, I would assume that Trade Desk is not going to lie about their OpenPath.
But
fees.
I can tell the reporting's not good. It's hard to go. It's hard to get the reporting on it out of Trade Desk.
Yeah, and it should be easy. They should make reporting on OpenPath the easiest thing in the world. But in terms of transparency, what transparency is missing? Like, well, I'm very confused by that. Just you can't report on the fact that it was from OpenPath?
Right. They list the supply vendor as the publisher.
But that's not like an OpenPath critique. Like that's a Trade Desk reporting critique. OpenPath is doing its job just fine. Like OpenPath is like I find it also confusing. This one gets me because like it's a very. Let me ask you a question.
Like I have it. Someone I trust told me that to the extent that they have AB'd, OpenPath is more expensive sometimes. So how could this be? Tell me as my trusted supply side expert. And my one little theory is, could it be that publishers are flooring OpenPath, knowing that Trade Desk is such a huge buyer and they're going to favor OpenPath? Might they just be flooring it higher, such that if I buy the same request through Index, I could get it cheaper? Is that possible?
Tremendous amount of variability from publisher to publisher. Most publishers use dynamic flooring systems that are going to pass in floors that based on any number of things that will push things up or down. Perfectly possible a publisher's dynamic flooring system chooses to floor OpenPath more. That doesn't mean OpenPath has to respect it, by the way. But I would say it's very strange for that to be global across publishers unless what you're comparing it to includes resellers. So if you are comparing OpenPath to the open web, where you're not just buying directly from the publisher, rather you're also buying impressions that come out of their Outstream player or come out of this other widget on the page, those other supply paths are going to be cheaper.
Even if it's
always
right, and it'll match page.
And that way, they're perfectly legitimate. They're just resold supply paths. They're not part of the publisher's unified auction, so they are going to look cheaper than buying. I think the fair comparison would be if I stand up a PMP with this publisher or with Gamera with this publisher, and I compare that to OpenPath, which one is more expensive? That is a fair comparison. And I would be surprised if OpenPath was more expensive when you did that. It's possible it is, but I would be surprised. Because that's how you get rid of all of the leaky bucket that exists in publisher monetization, which I tell publishers till I'm blue in the face, hey guys, you need to plug the holes in your leaky buckets because buyers are just looking to buy your domain as cheaply as possible. And like, if there's a cheaper way to get it, that's what they're going to gravitate towards. But yeah,
They have to
that would
explain
be
this,
my
right?
explanation. Yeah.
They're invited. We had O'Sullivan on the show for a good hour. We had Jeff Green on the show for a full hour talking about these strategies and cleaning up the path. And it's not, it looks, this looks like the project is not going great. And it could just be an issue of explanation. And we're happy to support that explanation. But I take this as
Yeah. The only other thing that I can think of for
what the
this
fuck.
scenario
It's a what the
is
fuck for
I
me.
know WPP has SSP agreements. And so WPP might have very effectively negotiated a flat SSP rate where they're like, hey, when our agency holding company buys, like we have our own PMPs, I know that your fee SSP is going to be this.
Yeah.
And the trade desk might have told them to pound sand when they asked for that, where it's like, hey, I want a bulk
Yeah.
open path deal.
Well, now they have to fight that to the end, right? Now that this has come out, now traders might have to come out and say, yeah, well, WPP is steering to a high fee SSP because of a kickback deal. Like, let's get it all out now. They got to do it.
But even I'm not even making the accusation that there's a kickback in place, even though there probably is. I'm just saying they might have that extra transparency from the SSP where they go, hey, SSP, I'm going to guarantee you $100 million in spend this year. However, you're going to charge me 5%. And when I buy from you, the fee from the fee that you extract from the transaction is 5%.
I'll share a story.
Oh.
A long time
I'm
ago,
so excited.
no one could trace who my SSP friend is, but I have an SSP friend who is signing a deal with a holding company and shared with me that when that deal was signed, he agreed to a rebate and then was surprised to find when it started that the rebate check had to be sent to the Cayman Islands.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. Hopefully at least said the name of the agency, not the name of the C-suite
Nope.
person.
I don't know. I gave him the name of the New York State Attorney General lawyer who I knew was looking into that sort of thing, but I don't know. I guess nothing happened.
I mean, I believe that it's real. Adam, you're the one who's always white knighting for agencies. Come on, bro.
Well, they're
Come on,
just
bro.
a factor in the chain. I mean, I will white knight for agencies because advertisers are telling them they have to work for like 1 or 2% of media, and then they demand like 16 revisions of the media plan, and they demand a huge amount of work, most of it unnecessary, and this tiny fee. So they've put agencies in a place where they can't tell the client what they're actually charging and have to make it on the back end, and it should be cleaned up. It should be cleaned up. Agencies cost money. Like advertisers should grow up and pay what agencies cost.
Good question. Are these sorts of rebates illegal?
Well, pointing out that the check had to be sent to the Cayman Islands means that the recipient of the money was worried enough about it that they didn't want the money on U.S. shores. So we'll leave it at that.
It's a good question.
And different countries have different laws.
When I was running RTK, I would sign contracts with DSPs that said that I had to pay them back a percentage of their spend. That was a thing. They said to cover integration costs. And I was like, that's a rebate. What you're doing there is a rebate.
There's a lot of gray areas. There's a lot of gray areas. I mean, Google pays enormous rebates in a scheme that is technically entirely legal. They say like your YouTube rate is $10 as long as you spend $1 billion this year.
Interesting.
And if you don't spend $1 billion, then we retroactively charge you a YouTube rate of $14. So it's not a rebate. it's a discount.
A discount that
with a clawback.
With a clawback. Yeah, 100%.
That's legal. And it's different countries is legal. In South America, this is perfectly legal. Or some countries in South America, the kickback scheme that would be illegal here is legal, and Europe is somewhere in between. So blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I actually generally assume that the United States is probably really good about this in terms of like governing this sort of behavior. I always feel like once you're out of the U.S., it's the Wild West, man. At least in my experience.
The United States, our United States, you mean in the past?
Maybe the UK is better, but I don't know, man. When I think of France, I just think of like a giant rebate. The entire thing is
buyer beware. I don't know. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Digiday turning the standards into a fight story. ADCP versus IAB Tech Lab standard being ARTF, and the other agentic standards in IAB, programmatic advertising, Agentic AI standards Showdown. This is a fun story because it's a video. Tim Peterson did a good job. He actually did the videos at the IAB conference in the hall. Chalice CTO Joe Wilson is well represented talking about this. So they made it like a fight story, but the people actually speaking. Also, Mike McNeely from Index is in there, our recent guest.
Oh, nice.
Is like these are compatible standards. Like this isn't a fight. This isn't a smackdown. These are standards are not standards are anti-competitive. Standards are whatever. They're collaborative, not anti-competitive. They're collaborative. That's the idea of making a standard, and these two standards are also potentially collaborative.
Yeah, I mean, the refrain in everyone's chat about this is like they do different things. Like they're focused on different parts of this. Like it's not one. It's not either or.
Yeah.
One is architecture with a protocol, and one is a whim and a dream to automate ad ops, basically. Like that's my 2-sentence summary.
One of them is in the
Yeah.
Sonic universe, going faster than the speed of light, and the other one is in the Tortoise universe, the snail mail universe, sending orders back and forth.
And I would say one is like, how do you build the perfect AI system as you described it earlier, which is a human sets up a campaign and it just does everything it's supposed to do. And the other one is, well, we assume that the systems are not going to do that. So how do you automate the sheepdogging? Like the ADCP thing is an automated sheepdog. That's what it is. And
why do you say that? But why? I think of sheepdogging as what I was saying is like, it's like an autopilot that's headed to the wrong city. So you're like, oh, I got to turn the wheel a little bit. Like the autopilot's going to LA and I'm trying to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, AdCP is the wheel turner when like to automate people turning the wheels and like setting things up. And then ARTF is like, okay, how do we make it so that we don't have to have a sheepdog anymore?
I see. Right.
Yeah. No more.
I don't know if AdCP
Let's just make
even,
it work.
As far as I know, AdCP doesn't even have an optimization module yet, but I know Newton Research, among others, are working on it.
Well, and I think it's a really interesting discussion of what optimization is, right? Like there's a system that's optimizing a campaign, and then there is like where the system is making algorithmic decisions. And then there's, a performance marketer logging into Facebook and duplicating their creative 20 times. Like technically the performance marketer doing that is optimization, right? They are optimizing, but they're doing it like a sheepdog. And so like the optimizations that are made the way that a human would make them, which is
this is just budget allocation, right? Budget allocation is portfolio optimization. It has the word optimization.
Like in CTV, when you're a publisher, you magically make more money if you duplicate everything 10 times. That's the scandal that's gonna come out.
I know. All right.
That's an upcoming one. You buckle up for that.
I mean, it's the valuation of the opportunity.
I agree with you.
I
think the other thing is just ad ops. I think that's if we're gonna say optimization, I think it's important to define terms. And I think that's a fair definition of optimization is valuation. The other thing is ad ops.
Yeah. Showdown. All right. Yeah. It was smart of Brian O'Kelly to be like, oh, Agentic replaces RTB and what do you say? Like everything is portfolio management now. And
oh God.
And RTB is day trading. It was smart. It turned it into a conflict story. It got a lot of attention.
It was good marketing. I mean, well, but is misrepresentation good marketing? I don't know. Right? Like no news is like what is it like?
We'll see who wins.
No news is bad news, whatever it is. Like,
we'll see who wins. We don't know till we wins. Okay. And from CNN, Mark Zuckerberg testifies about social media's effects on children in landmark trial. So this is a trial, I think it's class action, a bunch of mothers whose mostly daughters have psychological issues or deranged or even committed suicide. And they were all more or less addicted to Instagram, and they're bringing forward all the research about the harm that not only about the harm that Instagram does to young people, but proof from inside Instagram that they did not make efforts to keep young people off of it, and that they knew about the harms and went forward anyway with a bunch of more addictive features. And as Marley had pointed out in the chat, the judge chided Zuckerberg himself, Marley, for wearing Meta glasses during the trial. Is that true? You're joking.
I saw a headline. I did not read the article.
Okay. All right. Did you see it on Facebook?
Nope, sir. I don't go on Facebook or Instagram. That shit's
All right.
addictive.
Okay, good. Just keep your daughters off it too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Jonathan Haidt guy, so I buy this. Like,
yeah, and I recommend the
away.
book. I think in one of our first episodes, I had just read it, Careless People, about the insides of Facebook, which I'll recommend again, and just say, I think Zuckerberg's view on this is that his duty to the shareholders is to do anything he can get away with. And the definition of anything he can get away with is doesn't include, it's not like you can't get away with it if he's sued. Getting away with it means if he's sued and has to pay so much damages that it's more than he made from the tactic, right? I think it's a completely sociopathic. He has no moral obligation here. It's just a question of how much money would I make versus how much money do I have to pay in lawsuits. I think that's the entire logic. It's just my theory, just my opinion from observing him and reading about him. I've also heard that people learn this in business school or from venture capitalists, perhaps like Peter Thiel, to have this completely cold view of it, being like, the regulator's job is to stop you if you're doing something illegal. Your job is to get away with it. And like harming children is okay as long as you can get away with it, or that the fines and settlements are smaller than the amount of money you make from it. I think that's hard to look at because it suggests like a person who's like psychologically deformed so in a way that's hard to face.
No, I think lots of people do it. Yeah. I think it's a really interesting point to bring up because we look at it for Zuckerberg, but there are plenty of other places where we see people who do this en masse, normally in like food industries, where, or in like children's clothing or things like that, where you'll see recalls, you'll see things get like called back because it did so much damage to like children.
Yeah.
And
wait, AdTech Girl commented that the amount they pay in settlements will never get close to the billions they make, which means they'll never stop. Which just means they'll never stop. That's what, maybe these people will get paid, but they won't stop.
Yeah. It's scary and it's sad. I think that something that I've always found profoundly interesting is like advertising to children on these devices. Because if they can't, like, none of them can properly police ads to children. Like Google doesn't do it, Facebook doesn't do it. And
kids are like, liberty, liberty, liberty.
I would assume that this is like a massive class action lawsuit hiding in plain sight that could be percentages of revenue, right? Like what percentage of users are underage on Facebook? I would assume it's double digits. And if you could find a way to actually punish them for double digits of their revenue, they would stop. That would do it.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap it up by saying this is not a social media story. This is not a sociopath venture cap. This is an advertising story. Advertisers are in the driver's seat on this topic.
They are. And, they're buying ads for those kids. Yeah. They're what funds it.
And this is our industry, and we could decide. Facebook made $60.4 billion in profit last year. Oh, we're not going to get to do earnings. Should we just go to StinkedIn? We have to talk
about this one because we missed it last week too.
Okay, you read it.
Intense IQ. Yeah, from AdTech, but this is everywhere. Intense IQ sues TV Scientific over patent that covers his entire business, threatening Pinterest $300 million acquisition. I mean,
these guys, Intense IQ, Israelis, just mention that for no reason. That they say they invented.
You're on X too much.
Not invented. They own cross-device conversion tracking. And they've sued everybody, and they've won. I didn't know this. They've won some of these lawsuits. They've won.
Oh, yeah.
Every time there's a jury trial, they've won. And you can't patent something obvious, but no one has yet been able to convince a jury that cross-device conversion tracking is an obvious innovation.
They haven't won against schmucks. They've won against giant companies.
They've beat Amazon,
like tech giants. They beat Amazon in court. Yeah. Like, and they get paid by a few other really, really big ones. It must be an
Surprised I'm not
ironclad
even in
patent,
these
man.
cases. I'm
Like, it must be
surprised
an
no one has
ironclad
hired me to
patent.
be an expert witness. I was there across device tracking. It was fucking obvious. It was like, oh shit, people have phones now. We need a way to see if the people who convert our phones are the same browser owners that we've been tracking.
Well, maybe Facebook's watching this because Facebook is like trying to fight it, right?
Also, like
Meta's in
2
the process
dozen
of trying to
companies
fight this.
came out with it at the exact same time. I can't believe they lost these trials. We'll see how but what happened is all the ones who lost did a cross action suit back, and that one is still pending. They
Yeah.
countersued over the patent, saying, this is obvious and they can't own this.
Yeah, but I mean, in the interim, they have precedent for this being a real thing for huge cash outlays. And I know people at TV Scientific aren't particularly worried about this. They're like, oh, they're just patent trolls. But I know a number of companies personally who pay these guys licensing fees because of lawsuits over IP infringement. This is one of 100 patents they have.
What does a 10IQ do?
They're ID bridger.
Great. Our
Not only
favorite
patent trolls, they also do ID bridging in case you wanted to like them even more. But yeah, man, they must have really good lawyers.
So I guess next week we'll do all the earnings. Trade Desk will be in there if we wait a week. Let's wrap up with this week's StinkedIn. I'm gonna get mad when I just see it. What we have for StinkedIn. StinkedIn is the segment on AdTech AdTalk when we talk about how horrendously bad the LinkedIn algorithm
I mean,
content
the whole experience is.
and the entire experience, and how these people keep making changes that make this platform worse.
Look at that subtle
and
off-white
worse
coloring.
and worse.
The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my God.
All right, on StinkedIn.
I'll watch it every time.
This week
Never gets old.
we have. You got to make it okay. LinkedIn started putting. Besides, I have 71 invitations waiting. They have put in the search bar a queue that says "I'm looking for." Like they want me now. Now they're queuing us to do like a AI typed prompt in the LinkedIn box. And if you've ever tried to look for a friend or associate on LinkedIn, this is the worst search functionality in the history of search. It's if you get one letter wrong, it comes up empty, right? If you misspell or typo, or you don't know if something's an E or an I, you get nothing. They don't match. Like most people who search people on LinkedIn do not even use LinkedIn. You just go to Google and type your best estimations of the person's name and then LinkedIn, and then you'll get their LinkedIn page. Somehow everyone who works at LinkedIn doesn't know this. They don't know that their search is unusable. And it's like, oh, let's cue people to just do a more free-form prompt in our search bar. Because that I have zero faith. I will not try it. And I just want to say that everyone who works at this company should be fired.
I mean, there was a great LinkedIn, or was it on X, where someone was like, I will pay money to just have a LinkedIn product manager sit next to me and watch me use it for an hour while I yell at
They
them.
won't do it. They won't do it. They won't do. No, I've met them. They're perfectly nice people, and they're all very competent. And the company makes $1 billion a month or something, so it's very successful as it is. But they don't use. I can tell you, they do not use it. They don't know how to use it. They don't know how people use it. There's no chance they understand how startup people rely on LinkedIn and use it, and how people in the industry use it for conversations and feedback and entertainment. I 100% guarantee they have no fucking idea.
It should be such a powerful tool. It could do so many things. Like you could reinvent procurement with LinkedIn. Like you have every company, you have every person, you have every decision maker in the right place. You could reinvent it. You could become like a pillar of the modern digital economy so easily because you have all the people in the right place.
And think of the B2B economy. You could predict what every company is going to need. Like you wouldn't even need B2B advertising. Like I should be able to log in and be like, oh, Chalice, you're 50 people and you're in your 6th year and you're in AI. Are you interested in, should know exactly what I need.
Yeah. Here are the rising companies in your space. Like similar companies to you have expressed interest in this, have signed contracts with this. Unbelievable. There are so many things they could do. They do none of them. In fact, the B2B marketing just doesn't work. Like
It's horrendous.
it just burns your money.
Yep. Even like doing a post. So here, this is our last one. Someone thought that we had a segment about Lou Pascalis because we covered Lou Pascalis last week. So I wrote this hilarious comment that we're thinking about a segment about Lou Pascalis, and we might call it Lose Your Daddy or Pascalis in Wonderland. Two hilarious puns that Lou Pascalis would love. Look at that. That was 24 hours. I got 22 impressions.
Sounds right to me, buddy.
Back to Lou's legs again, ladies and gentlemen. Pascalis, which is a better name? Pascalis in Wonderland or Lose Your Daddy?
Lose you, daddy.
They're both really good, though. We both worry.
Right.
Both worry.
All right. We'll start that if you ever watches the show. All right. Anything
Earnings
else?
next week?
We'll do earnings and burnings this week. I hope you enjoyed our coverage of the Carnage.
It's fun out there.
Oh, I have to go to. I have
getting
at
better.
1 o'clock. I actually got to go.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you, chat, for being engaged. Thank you for all of your comments, AdTech Girl, and everybody on ADCP. We're excited to talk to all of you about this more, especially Adam, because he loves agents.
Darn, that's the
Yo,
end.
the crowd is back, the lights are dim. Front row's buzzing, it's about to begin. AdTech AdTalk, they're taking the stage. Adam and Gareth on a knowledge rampage. AdTech AdTalk, it's a live